Well, first of all, I just want to thank you for checking out this video. This is the first video I've made in a very long time. First video for this channel. This is something that I've noticed, and I've heard no one talk about this honestly. But going back to when there was that trending video on YouTube, and it was David Hogg, and he was, and first of all, I want to say I'm not bullying David Hogg in any way. He's a public figure. He's a 17-year-old man. He's put himself out there, so expect some degree of criticism to come your way when you're making trying to advocate for policy on TV. But anyway, the video with David Hogg in California that was on YouTube trending. See, what people completely ignored, everyone said, oh, David Hogg, he was in California. He never went to this school, and we know that's false. David Hogg did go to that school. That's a true statement. But what everyone completely ignored about that video was the fact that this one David Hogg actually turned this into a news story. The fact that a lifeguard told his friend to not put his boogie board on top of the trash can. And then the kid, kind of had a smart aleck response and said, gee, I didn't know it was a crime to put a boogie board on a trash can. And then the lifeguard came up to him and talked to him and said, you need to show me some respect, something along the lines of that. Why did that turn into a news story? Tell me about... It's like, I remember a time growing up when I was a kid where, yeah, the lifeguard would yell at some punk teenager for doing something wrong. It didn't end up on a CNN news story, It didn't end up being on the news. So people need to ask themselves, how does that turn into a story? And then, you look at how David Hogg's mom, apparently, I don't know if this is true, I haven't looked into it, but everyone's saying she works for CNN. We know his dad is an ex-FBI agent, but the fact that ended up as a news story, and guess who it showed in the video? It didn't show David Hogg's friend. It shows David Hogg being interviewed. And then you look at his YouTube channel. You look at how he tried to do the Casey Neistat blogs. He was obviously thirsty for fame, and that video got, if I recall correctly, about 700,000 views. So that was obviously a lot of attention to David Hogg's YouTube account. So he used that as a way to make himself famous, to be on TV. And we all know every time we turn on, I don't watch TV, but who do we see? It's David Hogg every time. And the fact that he made this a news story where a lifeguard told his friend to stop being a punk. Boo-hoo. TS. I'm not going to cuss on this channel or anything because I know they're going to try whatever they can to shut these videos down. But you're telling me that was worthy of a news story. A lifeguard telling some punk 17-year-old kid who's going to watch that video when he's like 30 years old and he's going to facepalm. That was worthy of a news story. It's called having friends in high places. Mommy works at CNN. Daddy's an ex-FBI. You're a fame-hungry... you read his Reddit. The kid was looking for attention. And that ends up as a news story. A lifeguard telling a kid to stop being a punk. What happened to the time where that happened and it didn't end up on, CNN? And I guarantee you this is what happens. David, he's with his friend. He says, oh, don't worry, man. My dad's an ex-FBI agent and my mom works for CNN. We're going to bury this guy. Oh, dude, we'll get this on TV. So you humiliate a guy. You ruin a guy's reputation for doing his job. For doing his job. And that ends up as a news story. And it shows, of course, Mr. David Hogg. So that's what was going through my mind when I saw that. It's almost like it was a distraction it was almost like it was bait for people to go, oh, it must be a conspiracy because David Hogg was in California. When I'm saying, no, this further enforces the notion that he is a narcissistic, fame-hungry, attention-wanting person. the fact that he turned that into a news story. I don't know if I'm crazy for thinking that, but that seemed a little odd to me. So I appreciate you guys for listening to this. I hope I could have opened your mind a little bit regarding that, because I haven't heard anyone mention that, and it's been bugging me so much that I finally just decided I need to make a video on this. So thank you. Take care.